And here we go, the Sinnis Blade. Absolutely cracking little bike, but like I said, it's the full size of a normal off-roader. So if you're looking for one, definitely stay tuned and you have more from us at Rev Solution. Right, this is my first impressions of the Sinnis Blade. Just collected this from the local Sinnis dealer. I got it for a 2-week trial, and this video is literally a first impressions. I've not ridden this bike before this video. I've only been on it literally about a minute. It's got knobbly tyres, so it can go off-road. Now, I've never ridden with knobbly tyres on the road, so we'll see how this goes. It should be absolutely fine, but it'll be interesting to see what it's like off-road. Now, towards the end of this video, there will be a small section where I am going to be going off-road, so that'll be a nice little test of the tyres. Now, the first impressions of this bike, it feels exactly the same as riding the Sinnis Apache SM 125 that I've had for last week and a bit. It's a nice simple bike, very basic, very light to manoeuvre. It's about 130 kilograms. This bike has got half a brake horsepower more than the Sinnis Apache SM, so it's got 11.5 brake horsepower. I haven't really had a chance to open the throttle up to see what the pickup is like, but if it's anything like the Apache then it should be absolutely fine for local commutes. Now, the brakes, I just used the front brake to come to a stop here, and it was pretty comfortable. Didn't cause me any issues, didn't make me feel like I'm gonna overshoot my braking distance that I wanted. Now, the first issue that I found with this Sinnis is the wind mirrors. They're I'm trying to get them in a good position, but I just can't. They're fixed up really high, and I think if you're a tall person on this bike, you're going to struggle. I don't know if there's a bolt I need to loosen off or something, just to get a bit more play in the actual mirror. But at the moment, I'm pretty much just looking at my shoulders on my offside mirror, and on my near side mirror I can actually see a little bit better on that one, in all fairness, but the offside one is not that good. Setup of this bike, just like the Apache, basic, simple, easy to get your head around. On your near side stalk, your near side handle area, you've literally got your high, your low beam, your headlight flasher, your indicator and your horn. Nothing else. Basic. On the offside, you've got your kill switch, your engine start, and in the middle you've got your rev counter, your analog rev counter, your gear indicator, you've got engine management light, you've got your indicators and your high beam, and on the right again you've just got basic need to know controls. You got a clock, got a fuel gauge, you got a digital speedo, and you got your mileometer, and that's all there is to this bike. Very simple to get you out on the road. Now, the price of this bike comes in at £2,399, which for what it is a respectable price. I don't think it's overpriced. You've got what you need and nothing more. Now, the speedo, again on this one, I found that it slightly jumps up a couple of miles an hour. Not as bad as the Apache, but 1 minute you'd be doing 20, 28, 29, then it would just jump like 2 miles an hour, but your hand's in the same position and then it will drop back down again. So Yeah, I'm not too sure what's going on with that. However, that's just something to bear in mind. Now the height of this bike is definitely a lot taller than the Apache. I'm on my tiptoes pretty much when I've come to a stop. I can obviously slide off completely and go flat-footed, but yeah, I'm not too keen on doing that, especially on a bike that I'm not too sure about. The windscreen, or the cover for the display, it's a little bit set like back a little bit towards the rider, so you can't really see your gear indicator. Not that that's a massive problem, you pretty much know what gear you're in all the time anyway, but if you were a lot taller on this bike, you are definitely going to struggle to see what gear you're in. Right, let's do a up to 40 miles an hour, it's 30. So it pulls to 40 nicely, off the line quick. So 125, it's not going to be lightning fast, but you've got enough torque and power just to get away from the traffic, give yourself that little bit of breathing space and keep moving. Now this bike has only 5 gears, 1 down 4 up, like most 125s. The majority that I've come across anyway have been 5-speed bikes. Now the seating position on this bike, again exactly the same as the Apache, nice and comfortable. My back is pretty much bolt upright, hand position is nice and comfortable, legs are very comfy, hardly bent. Got a nice big front mudguard at the front, you can see just bouncing about, gives you that feeling that you are on a big off-road bike. Now I say big off-road bike, it is quite a tall bike. For a 125, it has definitely got the height and size of a full bike, a bigger engine bike should I say. So it's definitely up there with the bikes that look the business for going off-road. The clutch, again like the Apache, there isn't much play with like clutch control. You're pretty much all the way out and then it bites. So I think for people who like a bit of clutch control when they're going off-road, you are going to be disappointed with this. But that said, you can just use your front and rear brake to do what you need to do to control your speed. Now coming from a sports bike background, the feet in position, that is something that I've really had to get used to, because when you ride a sports bike you are literally sat on the pegs with the balls of your feet, almost your tiptoes on the pegs. You can't do that with dirt bike styles, because if you do, now if you sit like that on a dirt bike, you won't be changing gear and you won't be putting your foot on the rear brake because you're too far back. You have to pretty much get the heel or the arch of your foot on the pegs, and that puts your feet in the right position to be able to change gear and operate the clutch, operate the gear lever. That said, once you figure out the new riding technique, it's pretty easy. However, that's another false neutral on the roundabout, on a bend. Hit neutral is not what you want. Now the thing I am liking about these Sinnis Blade and Apache is that even though they are 125s, they are tall bikes and they're big looking bikes. So far, riding on knobbly tyres that can easily go off-road, I haven't found any different to riding the other bike. It's pretty comfortable, pretty straightforward to ride. I think the big test will be in a minute when I get on the loose gravel. But the pickup of this little bike is really good. Yeah, see, the speed though just jumped. Oh, it's jumping 4 miles an hour extra then. It's a bit, I'm not too sure why this is happening. There we go, I'm doing a comfortable 29.30, haven't accelerated, and the speed just literally hit 34.30 and then sat back at 30 again. So yeah, that is something which is a bit of a concern. There's no way I accelerated up in that split second 4 miles an hour and then dropped the speed instantly. It's definitely a fault there, but this is a brand new bike, so maybe it's just something that unfortunately is part of these bikes, but it's only a small thing. Now initially, I've been on this bike about 15 minutes now. If I was looking at buying a 125 dirt bike style on the cheap, I'd really consider getting this blade. I'd probably have it over the Apache, to be honest. I'm not too sure what it is so far, but there's just something that's more appealing to me on this bike. The ergonomics, the body styling, it's all pretty much exactly the same as the other one. However, the front wheel I do know is slightly larger, so it's got better off-road capabilities. But yeah, there's just something more appealing to me about this one. Well, I'd love to take it over there onto all that clay. That'd be fantastic to try out the off-road capabilities. I don't think they're going to let me do that. The gear ratio is quite short, so you are having to pop through the gears quite quickly. Let's try this corner on knobblies. That's not too bad. It handles quite well. So saying the pickup on this bike, it's okay. Let's face it, it's like a car. Like the pickup speed, I'd compare it to a normal family car. It's not ridiculously fast, sports bike, super bike power, but it is a 125. I've got a Mondeo, a 2 litre Mondeo, and yeah, I think I'd quite like it to a normal car. It gets you to the speed limit quickly, not lightning fast, but it gets there quickly. You can pull away from the traffic comfortably. So yeah, it's not a bad bike. It is not a bad bike. Right, so at 40 miles an hour, 5th gear, I'm just under 6,000 RPM, so probably about 5.7. This red line's at 10,000 RPM and it's got a maximum of 12,000 RPM. So again, exactly the same as the Sinnis Apache. Okay, so we're on the dirt road bit now. Very, very smooth. God, that is really smooth. I'm having to do this in 2nd gear. 1st gear, there really isn't a lot in it. 1st gear is pretty much just get you moving. I'll sit down for the rest of it. There's quite a few bumps here and the bike's getting over it nicely. Yeah, big thumbs up to the suspension. It's not causing me any problems at all. It's probably the quickest I've ever come down that track, to be honest. If you haven't already, click on that subscribe button. Really appreciate everyone's support. Give me a thumbs up if you like his first impressions of the bike.